When you think about bullying, do you immediately imagine some kids in a schoolyard? Because I do. That's what I think about immediately. Bullying is like a Christmas story. It's like the kids in the schoolyard. There's the bigger kid, whatever, or maybe it's a high school setting. But that's the idea.
School bus. That's what comes to mind for me. Is just like a school bus.
I didn't ever really ride a school bus too much. Probably would have been, yeah. I don't know. And the thing that I think is interesting, and I went and I looked at the good old Webster source. I'm thinking maybe my idea of bullying is just, I have this idea of bullying and it's not standardized according to that picture that I was just talking about. So I thought, well, maybe the idea that I'm having a bullying, maybe it really isn't correctly called that. So I wanted to see, so I just typed in, what is bullying? Using superior strength to influence or intimidate someone, typically to force him or her to do what one wants. And the other thing was, the other definition that I saw, or a lot of them said imbalance of power. Okay? I think that we talk a lot about bullying with those kind of stereotypical ideas in mind. I think that bullying is a lot bigger than that. I think that it's, well, if you take that generalized definition of an imbalance of power, I think it's when anyone uses that imbalance of power in their favor, if it's unjust, especially, but to make somebody uncomfortable, to humiliate them, or to dominate them. And I think that there are cases of that in much larger walks of life. I guess I think of police, I think of government, I think of not just the schoolyard, but the school system. I think that bullying comes out of a power structure, an authoritarian power structure. And I think that I often think of it as a pyramid-shaped structure. Isn't that, I mean, it's really interesting how those pyramids just keep coming up over and over again. But if you look at the structures of corporations, we've been talking about pyramid schemes. If you look at the structure of government, the schools, it's all set up like that. And even like a food chain is a pyramid. And so is the, what do you call it? Where it shows you how much you're supposed to eat of all of the things.
The food pyramid.
Yeah, that's just a joke, but I don't see it. Here's how I see it. The kids see how the world works, including in our own families, in our own homes. It's the majority of the people that I know. We have this, most of us were raised in this authoritarian system, so we just all think that that's the normal way of doing things. Maybe it is for humans. It's maybe that system of violence and threat of violence is just normal for our entire planet. Maybe that's not just a human thing. Maybe if you looked at nature, you would see that the animals do the same thing. That's why I bring up like the food chain. Okay, so, but that doesn't mean that we can't rise above that, or we can't understand that we can't at least examine it. I don't particularly like it, because I think that authoritarianism is what leads to bullying, and I really don't like it when I see people getting bullied anywhere. And that has a lot to do with a lot of the news that I post, has to do with stories that just kind of rile me, because they're about injustice in some way. So if our whole world is authoritarian, our government is authoritarian, the school systems, the church is authoritarian, our families are authoritarian, and everything is about you do what I say. If you're below me on the rungs of the pyramid, I guess pyramids don't have rungs. What do pyramids have? Steps? If you're below me on the steps of the pyramid, then I have the right to bully you. I have the right to bully you. We all like look at that's how the system works. And we all participate in that. Because we want to get to the next step so we can bully the people beneath us. So that's why we bully our children. and tell them what to do. Why should I do that? Because I said so. And that's, if that's the answer, then that's, I'm the authority, you know. And I think that that's accepted.